Guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful flower petal design. So guys, let's get into the video. Here are the items we are going to be using to make this design. So you'll be needing your A4 paper. I'm using 3 pieces because it's 3 sizes of petals that we are going to be making. I have my fabric, my tape, my marker, my ruler, my pencil, scissors, and yeah. So let's get into it. So now you're going to take your A4 paper and you're going to fold it into 2, then fold into 4. So right here I'm going to fold my paper into 4. So right now we're going to go ahead and measure 2.5 inches, and then we're going to be going up by the length of the A4 paper, which is 5.75. Yeah, so that's what we are going to be using for this first petal. So this is the biggest petal that we have, and then I'm going to use my pencil to just trace a line. So we're going to be making use of a lot of freehand drawing here. So it's how you desire your petals to look like that you're going to draw. So right here I'm just tracing with my pencil, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my marker to trace it so that you guys can see what I'm tracing better. I already went ahead to cut out the first petal, but I wasn't satisfied with the shape of the first petal, so I'm just going to trace and cut out the desired shape that I want, and then we're going to move ahead to cut the second petal. So we're going to be measuring 2.5 inches like we measured earlier for the first petal, and then we're going to mark that, and then we're going to be going up by 4.5 inches. So I'm ruling it so that I can get a clear line for my design so that the petal won't be wonky. So off camera I decided to go and trace out the design I want for the petals, and I'm using my marker to trace it out for you guys to see. So I'm going ahead to use my scissors to cut it out, and then cut it in the shape that I like, in as much as I already went ahead to use marker to cut it. So I'm marking it so that you guys know what petals. So it's 3 petals. We've already done the first one, the second, and we're going to be doing the third one. Right now I'm still cutting. I'm not still satisfied with the shape of the second petal, so I'm cutting it to my desired shape and design. So we are going to move to the third petal. The third petal we are going to be measuring 2.5 inches, and then we are going to be going up by 3.5. So I'm tracing out the third petal, and then after tracing it I'm going to use my permanent marker to draw it so you can see better, and then I'll go ahead to cut it out. And Remember I used 2.5 inches. Later I went ahead to cut 0.5 inches. So you're going to see when I do cut it out. I've gone ahead to cut out the petals on my fabric, leaving 0.5 inches around the petals for sewing allowance. So on the first petal we have 14 pieces, on the second petal we have 10 pieces, and on the third petal we have 6 pieces, making the first petal 7 petals, the second petal 5 petals, and the third petal 3 petals. So you can cut extra pieces for your petals in case you make any mistake. Moving on, I'm showing you what one of the petals looks like after sewing it and cutting out the excess sewing allowance. So I'm folding it out for you guys to see what it looks like. I went ahead to do the first petal, which is the 7-piece petal. I am going to be showing you how to join your petals together. I already filmed it using the 5-piece petal, but then I was having issues with my camera, so I'm going to be filming it on the 3-piece petal. So now you're going to take your petal and then fold it into 2 to get the midpoint. You're going to open up the petal, but then you won't be opening it all the way through. So this is what the back looks like, and this is what the front looks like. And then we'll go ahead and put that on our sewing machine. You can go ahead and fold all your petals this way and then just sew it freely, but I decided not to. So you can also do that. It might make it a little bit easier for you to sew. So I'm going to go ahead and just sew. You're not sewing all the way through because you are going to be overlapping the petals. So here, this is what I'm going to be doing with the second one. The same thing, folding into 2 and then opening it up and not opening it all the way through. And then you're going to place it on the first petal. This is what the back looks like. So I'm just folding it. I should have just used the pen to do this to save me the stress. So I'm lifting up my footer and then I'm placing it on top the first petal, overlapping them. You can see how overlapped it is. And then I'm going to go ahead to sew. We are going to be repeating the same thing we did for the second petal, not sewing all the way through, so we can place the next petal. So we are folding into half again, and then we are going to be opening it and not opening it all the way through, and then we're going to be placing it on the second petal, and you are placing it to overlap it like I showed you earlier. So that's what I'm showing you now, how overlapped the petals are. Oh, my camera. So we are just going to go ahead and sew that up. So here, because I didn't pin it, so it's giving me a little bit of an issue, so I have to be placing it the way I want to. Please, I would advise you just go ahead and pin it. It will make it a lot easier because the petal keeps opening up by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the petal up, and since this part is the 3-piece petal, I'm going to be showing you how to join them together. So that first petal, you are going to be taking it to the third petal, and remember, you are not sewing all the way through, so you are going to overlap the first petal on the third petal or last petal, however you put it. So I'm just going to be overlapping that. It's a bit of a struggle because it's 3 petals, but for the 7 and 5-piece petal is a lot easy. So that's what we're going to be doing here. So I'm overlapping the first and the third petal together, and then I'm just going to go ahead and sew that. This is what the petals looks like. So when we are done, this is the second and the third petal, and this is the first petal, looking all beautiful. So I'm going to be showing you what they look like layered together. And then for the joining part, we are going to be joining the second and the third layer first before we join the first petal to make things easy. So I'm showing you what to do for the midpoint. You can go ahead to design it however you want, but if you want to put petal for the midpoint, I'm showing you using an extra petal. So I'm just going to fold that in so that the seam allowance or the hem of the petal is neat, and then we are just going to roll that up. You are just going to roll it. There's no, yeah, you can see what I'm doing. So you're just going to roll it up and then insert it into the second and third petal. So this is what it looks like. And then you're going to go ahead to use your needle and thread and sew it up. You can't use a machine for this. So you're going to use your needle and thread and sew it up for them to be sturdy. And then you go ahead and join your first petal to it when you are done. And then notch your petal to your dress or your top or whatever you are using this flower design for. I decided to use claw stones to design my petals. So this is what mine is looking like. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.